Hey everyone, my name is Boyan Krosnov. I'm the CTO of StorPool, and I'm going to talk to you about how StorPool uses AlmaLinux and why we like it so much. Right. So this is basically like a user testimonial. We're not here to promote our product. We're here just to tell you how we use Alma. So who we are? So we are basically a block storage solution used by a bunch of hosting companies, cloud companies, and they trust us not just with the storage piece. We help them a lot with their whole cloud infrastructure. In a lot of cases, it's not a brand new company. We've been around for like 15 years. We're about 50 people based in Sofia. About 80% of that 40 people are technical, so it's like a tech-heavy company. We are a user of AlmaLinux, and we recommend AlmaLinux to our customers whenever we can. And for us, is the preferred distribution for KVM host storage nodes, guest operating systems for virtual machines. So what we use it for? First, for our own machines. So we have a couple of production clusters virtualized with KVM, one in Sofia, one in Delhi in India. We use it in our test dev and demo lab, which is about 100 physical servers, and in our test and dev virtualized lab. And also at our customers, it's used on thousands of servers at hundreds of locations. So we have a bunch of customers, each of them has a bunch of locations, so the total is in the hundreds. And these thousands of Linux servers are supported and or managed by us to various degrees, depending on what we do with different customers. The clicker is giving me trouble. So just one slide of how exactly does this thing look like. So the gray boxes are physical servers. On them you have the StorPool software, StorPool kernel module for the driver, and the most common use case for our stuff is KVM virtual machines. So this is the the libvirt QEMU KVM stack, and in all cases, almost without exception, it's managed by something like CloudStack, OpenNebula, OpenStack, Proxmox, and more recently, overt Oracle virtualization. So there are a lot of different things used on top. So since we are both hardware and kind of Linux distro agnostic and hardware agnostic, Linux distro agnostic, cloud virtualization agnostic, meaning our customers have the choice. We don't force them to use CloudStack over OpenStack. If they like OpenStack, they use OpenStack. We don't force them to use AlmaLinux over Ubuntu. If they like Ubuntu, they use Ubuntu. So there are different types of different generations of hardware at different scale. So some deployments are 3 nodes, others hundreds of nodes, different network topologies, different Linux distros with different versions going back from CentOS 7, which there are still about 200 nodes that we are trying to retire. Different software stacks, as I mentioned, and the common thing among them is they're used for roughly the same thing. So they're KVM hypervisors, KVM and StorPool hyperconverged nodes, or StorPool storage nodes. And also AlmaLinux is also used a bunch as a guest OS in virtual machines. Yeah. So why what our customers look for and why do they use StorPool. First is, AlmaLinux. First is the long-term support. So 5 years is just not enough. They need quite often longer term support for a number of reasons. Hardware life cycle is also longer than 5 years. So if even though in for accounting purposes people write off servers in 2 years, the servers tend to live a lot longer. Is our experience. System life cycles. So StorPool deployment lives much longer than the servers it's composed of, because all the servers get retired and new servers get brought back in, added to these clusters. And on top of all, individual hardware components like network interface cards tend to outlive the servers they were initially installed in. So like a 10 gigabit Ethernet card might be installed in a server, and then the server gets retired and then it gets moved to a newer server. So the components tend to outlive the machines they were initially installed in. Other things our customers desire out of their Linux distro is they prefer a community-driven distribution. We also do. It's important for them that it cannot be swayed or acquired. For example, even though Oracle Linux might be preferred because it has like a large company backing it commercially, in practice it isn't, because people are the issue of we don't know what Oracle is going to do tomorrow just outweighs this commercial backing completely. It is just much more important for people that their Linux distribution cannot be influenced by the mood of an individual, of a single individual, the CEO of that company. Especially, I think, especially with a lot of our customers have a recent bad experience with the acquisition of VMware, especially after that, the requirement for their operating system, hypervisor, etc., to be independent of a single company has come much more to the front of their minds. And the last thing they really like is in AlmaLinux we see and our customers see that the needs of the community are listened to and they're addressed. There are a couple of examples around this with both the x86-64 version 2 hardware support, so support for older x86 servers, which is only in AlmaLinux, doesn't exist in Red Hat, as well as re-enabling drivers for hardware which was deprecated in Red Hat Enterprise Linux, but it is still supported in AlmaLinux and other, what they like, enterprise features like hardware longevity, compliance and security certification, because it's an EL distribution is easier to do, ABI compatibility with Red Hat Enterprise Linux, a predictable upgrade path. So for this specific use case for KVM hosts, the EL approach of a stable distribution that accepts only bug fixes instead of staying close to the upstream is much preferable. And in terms of support for their whole fleet, so you can imagine a company having 100+ servers. Some of them will be older, some of them will be newer. The general approach we see at our customers is that they like to have the same distribution and the same version installed on their whole fleet because it makes it easier for them to support it. So at some point, they were running, say, AlmaLinux 8, and they go through the whole fleet and they upgrade everything to AlmaLinux 9, for example. And support for the old hardware in the new distribution is important because of that. Our participation in the AlmaLinux community, we're part of the AlmaLinux West Foundation. We run an AlmaLinux mirror in Bulgaria. The first reason we did that is because we need these like faster access to packages for our own needs, but the side benefit of that is everyone in Bulgaria gets faster access to these packages. And because of our installed base of thousands of servers in different data centers with different hardware, slightly different orchestrations, etc., we get exposed to some bugs fairly early, and we report them, fix them. We have a running list of issues that are unexpected, and no one, in some cases, no one else has hit them before. We call it the REIGS list, Motiki in Bulgarian. And quite often, like, there is one of these that comes up, I don't know, every month or more often even. Basically, because of the size, the slight differences in how different users use our stuff, they end up hitting issues. They have nothing to do with StorPool software, right? They end up hitting, say, bugs in the Linux kernel, bugs in KVM, etc. And sometimes, and we collect them, provide a workaround for our customers, and then try to fix them upstream. So we're part of this, process of improving AlmaLinux, improving KVM over time. I wanted to mention finally some numbers. So out of the whole base of thousands of Linux servers that we support or manage to various degrees, about 2/3 are Ubuntu and Debian, 1/3 are enterprise Linux, so Oracle Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Rocky, Alma, CentOS 7, there are still some remaining. All of the remaining CentOS 7 will soon be upgraded to AlmaLinux, so we count them together, and they represent about 80% of the enterprise Linux hosts that we support and maintain in terms of statistics. An explanation for that, I think, is we are agnostic to operating systems, so a lot of our customers come to us with an existing preference, so they like Ubuntu before they even talk to us, right? And they end up deploying Ubuntu. Why do they choose Ubuntu? 2/3 of them, I guess. The main aspect of that is commercial support, but it might be as important as familiarity. So for whatever reason, they, as sysadmins, DevOps people, they have been exposed to Ubuntu specifically, not even Debian, Ubuntu previously. Right? So I think commercial support and familiarity are the main reasons we, as the AlmaLinux community, are losing customers to Ubuntu. Right? Customers being people who run AlmaLinux on their machines, right? So that was all from me. I'm open to questions. Yeah. Ask anything, let me know.